तुमचं काय इथे वायफाय आहे का?
वायफाय आहे ते माझ्या लॉगिन थ्रू झालं.
नाही स्लो असेल तर कनेक्ट केलं
लॉगिन थ्रू झालं.
Connect it outside if you get the sound. And just do the tasting. Can you test?
Mic testing. Can you hear us? You are going.
That's not nice.
So I could hear it. So you can do it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I will have somebody else find it outside. Thank you.
You have a question?
Yeah. So I did that homework thing you said, but then when I clicked submit after like I was completely done, everything just went away. So do I have to do all that again?
You want to make a note after it?
What is your name?
Aditya
Aditya, last name?
Shauke, Sheoke.
I'll confirm with your score is recorded.
Okay.
Do you
I
remember?
think this, I don't know.
1 second. So, yeah.
Same thing happened also.
What is your name? Can you? Okay. I think I have seen your name, but let me just know.
It took me to a feedback page where you gave no feedback, right? After that you were done, right? That was the last thing. Okay.
Once you reach to the feedback page,
Yeah. Okay.
your score is recorded. Even if you don't give the feedback, your score is recorded.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Did you go to feedback page?
Yeah, I did it.
What about you? You didn't go to feedback page?
Wait, but after the feedback page, after that, everything disappeared.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That is what will happen. What about you?
Okay. I don't think so.
You didn't see the feedback?
I don't think so.
Let me, we'll do that later after the. I think we should.
It's not
Three. Three.
So then, you want to talk about the neighbors?
You can start with one. If you miss it, then you watch it. Sorry. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Lions Leadership Academy. This is our second seminar in our series of 11 seminars. Introduction and 10 more topics. Before we get into today's topic, I wanted to do some house cleaning. I wanted to deal with some house cleaning items. One is about the registration. Some of you have not registered properly as yet. There is incomplete information. There is wrong information. Your emails are different on the Lions Leadership Institute, as in the Lions Learning Center, where you take the online courses, and Lions Leadership Academy. You're giving the different email addresses. Your scores, your grades, your attendance will be based on your emails, so they need to match. So if you have different emails, please make sure that you tell us what email that you're using. At some places that I have observed that the parent's name is registered as a participant, and the Lions Learning Center, where you take the courses, it is your name. So names are also not matching. Okay? So try to make sure that if you have done registration with some different name, different email addresses, please let us know, and we'll fix that problem right in the beginning. Otherwise, it will be difficult to do that at a later stage. The other point about the Lions Learning Center, some of you are having some difficulties in going on to Lions Learning Center. I have replied to everybody. I have sent that in email several times, that you have to have a pop-up blocker off. If you have a pop-up blocker on, you cannot access the online system. So you have to make sure that your pop-up blocker is off, and you log into it with the right email, right membership number and password. The Lions Learning Center is managed by Lions Club International. We don't have any access to your information besides the report that we get. So if you lose your password and you cannot provide them right information, you will not have access unless you contact the Lions Club International. Okay? So make sure that you don't lose your passwords. Make sure that you have the right information put in all the time. Okay? Having said that, to start with, we would be having our seminars here from now on. Next 10 seminars would be here. New York Life was gracious enough to allow us to use this facility. So I would like to thank New York Life for providing us with this facility. This is a corporate environment. So we have to make sure that we come in, we have a discipline coming in and going out. We cannot hang out in their lobbies and places like that. We have to leave this place as we came in. So don't sort of hang out outside or something like that. Once you come out of the elevator, come to the training room, and then we have to follow the same protocol while going out. So let's begin with today's topic. It is about active listening, effective listening. Our today's presenter is Chitnis. She has a lot of experience in leadership in her career, in her job. Besides that, she is the global leadership team coordinator for our district. So she knows a thing or two about leadership, and it is my privilege to welcome her to present today's topic on effective listening.
Thank you, District Governor. Okay, I know I used to be in your shoes, but I didn't want in the first rows. But I think Vardhan and person sitting next to you, you can move up. Are you guys attending the lecture series, or you are here? Can I ask you to sit in the back? And I'm sorry, person in wearing the fluorescent jacket, you guys can come in the front. The people who are active members of the seminar series, if you can stay in the front, it'll be better.
Leave this.
Yeah, and try not to skip seats so that we make use of space effectively. I think there are seats in the front. Move up, please. You also, if you can leave that block behind, that's fine. And thank you so much for letting us use your facility. Mahesh said that, but you were not here. So, so I'm just saying that.
Since the representative of New York Life is here, I would like to introduce Mr. Yan Madhikari. I thanked New York Life before you came in, but as a token of our appreciation, I wanted to present you with my pin for the district governor. It says Vision Beyond Sight.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
it's
you
my pleasure, all guys, because Lions Club wants you guys to be leader one day. Today you practice that, and tomorrow you're going to be leader. So the best way to be successful in the country, you have to be leader, good leader, right? Back in India, basically people say that. Can I take 2 minute time?
Sure, go ahead.
Back in India, if somebody asks children, what do you want to be? So people say that, children say that I want to be computer engineer. And US, basically a lot of children say that I want to be popular. So which way you want to go? Popular always better, right? So to take the leadership, there's a lot of leadership characteristics, a lot of presenters will present in this moment. So you will have great experience. I did CLF in American College, which is Charter Leadership Fellow. So I have also a lot of experience about how to be successful leader. So same way, Mahesh ji and all great people are here. And not only that, a lot of the speakers will be here during the time, right? So you have great opportunity. Learn, write it down, try to implement good things. All right. Good luck. We'll be taking care whole 9 days. I mean, next 9 time or 10 time,
including today.
Yeah, I'll be here actively helping you out. All right. And if you have any question in the future, definitely feel free to ask me. I'm the partner in your life here. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. I think we have.
Continue.
Okay, we have some people who joined a little later. Okay, Huh?
That I will manage.
Okay, I'm just going to make same statements that I did last time. During the seminar presentation, we suddenly start feeling warm. So if you guys want to be comfortable, you can take off your jackets. This room is great temperature. It's not freezing cold, which usually conference rooms are. Your phones, put them, switch them off if possible, not only vibrate. Yeah, I think that there is a seat in the front, Rana, if you want to come. There's also a seat there. Okay. So I think we are going to get into the seminar. Before we begin, does anybody have anything that they want to bring up? If it is related to last seminar, or I couldn't log on to Lions leadership training, we can address that later. But if there's anything that you want to ask, like, oh, my mom is downstairs and I need to do this, ask me now. Otherwise, we are going to start. So, as the title says, right, effective listening. Now, you may ask, what is in it? What is listening? I've never heard anybody say that I'm a professional listener, right? Have you heard anybody saying that? No. So why is this important? Not only for leader, but for you to do anything in your life, listening is a foundational skill. Overall, communication is a foundational skill, but communication means speaking and listening. So how many people here think they're good listeners? Okay, so let's play a game or two. Okay, repeat after me 5 times, word spot. Spot, 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 spot. What did you at green light?
Stop.
How many times people said stop?
I didn't say stop.
I heard that.
I was just
There were
pointing
different answers, right? It makes you think. Okay, maybe one more game. How do you pronounce word ROAST?
Roast.
How do you say COAST?
Toast.
What do you put in toaster?
Bread. Bread. Bread.
Okay. I think I am getting to my point, right? I have one more test. Okay, this is a little bit more elaborative. Don't overcomplicate. You can take mental notes or paper notes. It's going to take us a couple minutes. Pretend that you are a bus driver today. It is your job to drive the Main Street bus. One day, you get on the bus and you start to count. At the first stop, 5 people get on your bus. Bus then makes a left turn. At the next stop, 3 people get on and 2 people get off. This is a test that's widely used, so if you have done this before, don't say anything. Don't say anything to your people sitting next to you. All right, so starting from the beginning. At the first stop, 5 people get onto your bus. Bus then makes a left turn. At the next stop, 3 people get on and 2 people get off the bus. At the next stop, 2 people get off the bus. Nobody gets on. After the bus makes a sharp right turn. At the last stop before terminal, 5 people get on and 1 person gets off the bus. The data for the test is finished. Now I'm going to ask the question and you have to say the answer pretty immediately. Here is the question, or at least raise your hand if you have the answer. Here is the question. What is the name of the bus driver? Okay.
Aditya.
Very good. Okay, so clearly you were listening. What about others? Did everybody? Yes. Okay. But did everybody? Was it interior to you? Everybody? You have done this before, right?
Yeah.
And that was the point. That if you have done this before, then okay. So coming back to what we just heard, I think there were a few hands that went up when I asked who thinks they are a good listener, right? Including me. Now there are some people in this room may disagree with that, being my family members, but mainly people think that we are good listeners. However, we just played games, yeah, you know, they were fun, that prove kind of otherwise. Everybody, and I mean everybody, can learn to listen better. There is no perfection in listening. So hearing is one of our primary sense, right? It comes naturally to most of us. Now, there are hearing challenged people. But listening is optional. When there is an interesting story going on, when there is a movie that you really like is going on, everybody listens. But then at the same time, there are times when your mom is telling you to clean up your room or do the assignment that you really don't want to be doing, you're not listening. So that is selective, you know. So everyone has ability to actively listen. Whether you do it every time, you know, probably not. But what we are going to talk about, what we are going to see is that how can you be actively listening? So today's agenda is, we just did the listening test. Okay, we are going to go and define what is effective listening. Then we are going to talk about listening styles. We are going to talk about some common misconceptions. For example, like I'm a good listener, right? Is a very common misconception. What are some barriers to active listening? Why people don't actively listen? And when we talk about that, it will be very clear what can we do to be a better listener. So coming into that, and then lastly, we'll talk about, you know, what's your call to action really? So this is rather lengthy, laborious definition of active listening, effective listening. I don't think I need to read that, but overall, you have to hear, you have to process, you have to understand what your speaker is telling you, and show the listener, show the speaker that you're listening. And if you are to be speaking or acting upon it, you know, do that at the end. Okay, so before we go into talking about listening styles, we're going to watch a video.
Play. 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 What are you doing? Trying to use a Jedi mind trick to control Stephen Hawking. Play. Play. Oh, you must be wearing a tinfoil hat or something. I did a bad thing. Does it affect me? No. Then suffer in silence. Play. 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 Stephen Hawking. Penny started taking a class. She wrote a paper. She didn't want me to read it. I went behind her back. I read it anyway. Stephen Hawking hates me. I don't know what to do. I mean, the paper's terrible. But if I tell her, she'll know that I read it, and she'll get really mad. I was beating him so bad he doesn't want to be friends anymore. Why does everyone love me except Stephen Hawking? Is it possible we're having two different conversations? Now what I know, I'm not listening to you. Yeah. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Chess clock. We each get 5 minutes to talk about our problems. We'll take turns. Each turn will consist of a statement and a helpful response from the friend. Begin.
I humiliated Stephen Hawking in a game of words with friends. He stopped playing, and now we're not friends anymore.
He's probably busy. You're worried about nothing. Give it a couple more days. I'm sure he'll play and see that everything's fine. My turn. I can't let Penny hand in a bad paper, but how do I tell her it's bad without letting her know that I read it?
Beats me. Now, I know Hawking's not busy, but I can see he's playing other people right now.
Maybe since you're so good, he's taking his time to meet the challenge. I want Penny to enjoy it.
Wallace told me he's a big baby. Yeah, I didn't know that. I played extract for 82 points. It's all Amy's fault. She told me to play it. I've got to cut her loose.
Sheldon, I wasn't done talking. She hands in the paper tomorrow. I know I could help her. She's my girlfriend. I should be allowed to help her. Why am I allowed to help her?
I hear you, brother.
You need to give me some advice.
Fine. Women,
Specific to my situation.
blonde women,
How pathetic.
It sucks to be you. Wait, no. I listen to your dumb thing.
Okay. So I think most of us enjoyed that video. Unfortunately, now you have to listen to me talk about what we just saw. So we're going to now talk about listening styles. There are three main listening styles. Competitive / combative. I think we just saw an example of that, right? At least one of the individual was doing that. Then there is passive attentive, which I think right now most of you are doing that, which is also good. And the third listening style where we want to eventually be going is active / reflective. Now don't get me wrong, each of the listening style is important and we use it in different scenarios. However, for the most of the conversations that are important to us, we want to get to the third listening style. And today we are going to learn how to do that. So from the video, the person who was not listening, which style was he demonstrating? Anybody? Hands up. Yes, sir.
Competitive.
What do you think?
Competitive. I think it was competitive.
Okay. Because he was more interested in speak rather than what his friend was telling him, right? He had decided that he's not interested, or he's just so self-involved that he really doesn't have ability to take a pause and listen. What about Leonard? What style was he trying to demonstrate? Yes?
Active and reflective.
Yes?
Active, reflective.
Okay. And how do you think, at the end, how do you think the person who was doing active, reflective listening, how did he feel when the other person was clearly not showing that? So again, coming back to the styles, there are certain cases where competitive listening is required. Any guesses as to what that scenario might be? Somebody from the back? Can you guys hear me? Okay. When do you think competitive or combative style? Yes?
Debates.
Okay. Any other example? Debate is perfect. Courtroom scenario, if you are a lawyer, yes, you want to be listening, but you want to be driving your point, right? That time you're not interested in how is the defendant feeling. If you are defendant's lawyer. You're not interested in how are they feeling, what are they really saying, etc., etc. Another example, maybe negotiations, right? Again, the same thing. You want to be driving your point. So when you are doing that, yes, you need to be demonstrating competitive, combative. When we are doing passive or attentive listening, at that time, listener pays attention to the speaker. They are interested in the message, but they are listening passively. Like you're not, like in most of you right now. If I look at you, it's very difficult for me to understand if you are really processing. Now that's fine. In this type of scenario, that's what most of the people do. But sometimes if you are having a friendly conversation and you are just staring at your friend is going to think that you're not listening. Or if it's, forget about friendly, even like in conversation at home, if your mother is lecturing you, that's what you may be feeling, but she's trying to tell you a point, and you are just looking at her without any facial expressions, which all of us have mastered that, right? But at that time, the speaker feels frustrated because he or she expected more participation from listeners. The speaker feels that listener has no concern for speaker's emotion. If your mom is very upset with you and she's telling you something, right? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she might be giving you emotional response, but if you just stare at her, and I'm not saying this really happens, but sometimes it does happen. At that time, speaker feels frustrated. So passive or attentive listening is something that you will be practicing when you are in lecture, when you are in your classrooms, or in training, like today. And when should this not be used? When you are in a mentoring session. Yes?
Oh, no.
No, you tell me.
I thought you were gonna ask.
No, sir, go ahead.
When you're in a conversation with a friend or family member.
Okay, very good. So now we want to talk about the third listening style, which is active listening. So in this listening style, the listener is genuinely interested in understanding what the speaker is saying. And now sometimes it goes beyond the words that speaker is saying. You have to understand their emotions, where they are coming from. Sometimes people give you cryptic messages, right? But you have to understand where they're coming from. You may need to, if you are kind of 50-50 as to whether you really got what they have said, or even if you feel like you have got it, you want to repeat back to them what you heard or what you thought they said. And that's a very important thing, because if I say 50, you heard 15, that's a problem, right? It's not just misunderstanding, it could lead to lot many problems. So when do you think active reflective should not be practiced? What situation? What scenario? Yes?
Lecture.
Perfect. Anybody else? Okay. And where would you be demonstrating active listening? Anybody from the back? I'll get to you. Okay, don't be afraid. This is not a test anymore. Okay, yes, Aditi.
When in a class.
Okay. Even if you are having a short meeting. Now I know some of you come from Leo Club. Some of you come from a Leo Club that's very big, where you may have 20-30 people listening to you if you're speaking. Now at that time, it's not really appropriate to interrupt and say to the speaker, oh, this is what I heard. Now you may be in a position in the Leo Club where it's important for you to make sure what you understood is right. Like, for example, your secretary. If it's secretary's job to take minutes of the meeting, right? What will happen if the secretary writes something that's not what is said? That's a problem. So if you are, you need to kind of figure it out. Do I really need to say something or show that I have heard or, I understood? But mostly in those type of meetings, speaker is looking to make sure you are actively participating. And for example, if, in your classroom, in your school classrooms, your teachers want to know if you are really paying attention. Having a blank face doesn't really help. Now, you're not supposed to interrupt the teacher and say, oh, yeah, I got it, because there are 20 more kids in the class, probably, or more. But, through the body language, through eye contact, through not looking at your nails or phone, you can tell the speaker that I am listening to you. So as a listener, that's what, you should be doing. Before we move on with this topic, any questions on listening styles? So now we're going to talk about some common misconceptions. So the first one, as I said, you might not have raised your hand, but I think most of us believe that we are good listeners. And as I said before, most of us are good listeners in certain situations. Like, I don't know of anybody who went to a movie and came out, a movie that they really wanted to watch and they're liking, and came out of the cinema hall wondering what really happened in the movie, right? Come on, that never happens. We are actively listening. I have heard another misconception. Oh, you are a good listener because you have nothing to say. So not true. People who have a lot of information to share with you, they are very good listeners, because they were listening, and that's how they know what to say to you. Intelligent people are better listeners. Believe it or not, I think most of the kids here, you guys are smart. It does help you to be a good listener, because you have certain cognitive ability that helps you process the information effectively than others, maybe who are not as bright. But that alone doesn't make you a better listener. If you're not listening and taking a moment, a pause to process, understand where the speaker is coming from, what is the message that they're really giving you, you're not going to be any better than anybody else. Hearing is same as listening. I think we have just made a case as to why it is not. We listen better as we get older. How many people believe that to be true? You believe? Is it because you think your elder brother, elder cousins, or somebody is a better listener? No. Gender affects listening ability. These are all very common misconceptions, and that's what they are. They are misconceptions. Okay. What causes us to not actively listen? If we understand these, then we'll know how to be a better listener. More often than not, when we see our speaker, for example, when you walked in today and you sat and I started talking, each of you had a subconscious thinking process that, you decided whether you're going to like what I'm going to talk to you about or not, or you're going to pay attention to you or not. It's subconscious, and it is not right. You have to make sure that you do critical evaluation of what your friend is telling or what your teacher is saying, maybe a little later after you hear what they have to say. We have a lot of times, and adults are in the same boat as kids are, right? They're not any better. They are trying to prove as to, and I think if you are really honest, you can tell me this, but you are in a Leo meeting, You are not the president or the secretary who is talking that day. You're making a case to yourself as to, I think I'm such a better speaker than this president is. Maybe I should have been the president. I don't understand why he gets to talk and why I don't get to talk. I'm not going to say whether you do this or not, but this is a very common thing. And as I said, adults do the same thing, right? They also may not necessarily raise their hands to tell whether you do that or not, but they do that. It's a human tendency. You want to, when you're daydreaming, there are probably, when you are in school, you're not paying attention to your teacher, you're thinking, oh wow, this Saturday, I think I'm going to go to movies with my friend. What movie should I go to? What do you think? What should I be wearing? I've not worn that dress for a long time. And that looks really good on me. We do that, right? Yeah. Daydreaming. Totally irrelevant to what's being taught to you, what is being spoken to you. But at that time, you're so involved in thinking about where you're not. So the lesson is, be here, be now, be where you are, right? Distractions. People are walking by. Somebody has their phone on. I think most of the school systems, I believe, don't let you take your phones in the classroom. So at least they're taking care of one distraction. But looking at your friends, thinking, having some sign language conversation, these are all distractions. Judging, thinking, or trying to convince yourself that this speaker is saying something. Maybe you have a prejudice, you have bias. It could be any type of bias, right? It could be your own personal feelings, some experiences that you've had in your life. I may be making a case for, let's say, why you should write with doing, right? I'm trying to tell you that. This is an example. But you know for sure that you want to write with reading, because when you are correcting, that's what people do. But I may have some reason because I have devised some new technology that only reads bluing. So I'm telling you, but you pay no attention. I'm going to correct with red pen. You have decided that. So it's rehearsing. So the biggest barrier to active listening is most of us are not listening with the intent to understand what the speaker is saying, but we are listening with the intent of how am I going to respond. We are so engrossed in how am I going to respond that we totally don't pay attention to the message that the speaker is trying to drive. And I think that is the biggest barrier to listening properly. And that is that, how am I going to come back? A lot of people have this need to have the last word in the conversation. And they're so worried that if I'm not ready with my response, my friend may have the last word, or the person who is talking to me may have the last word. So we have to teach ourselves to not do all of these in order to be an effective listener. Before we move ahead, any questions? Yes?
How about filtering?
Yeah, it's selectively listening, right? Just listen to the first part of the speech and, kind of turn off, right? Because, I have heard enough. What is she going to say to me now that I don't already know, right? So you kind of, so I have selective listening.
So most of these critical evaluation come under the whole heading of judging, right? Basically.
Critical evaluation, so judging might be just, sort of, it could, In judging, you could be judging the presenter or the speaker, or you could be judging their message, So I think, yeah, either way, you're right. I think it kind of does fall in the umbrella. But anybody in the back? Now I'm going to maybe pick on somebody to tell me which one of these you demonstrate. I will start with myself. I think it's critical evaluation of speaker. That's probably what I'm guilty of. Vardhan, what? Judging. Somebody in the second row other than Tanmay. Oh, I have a volunteer, yes.
Like sometimes if I find the speech boring, I like start daydreaming, scenarios.
Okay. And does it only happen when the speech is boring, really, or like?
I have nothing to do.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
Okay. Somebody from the row behind. So somebody in the third row. Either raise your hand, or I'm going to pick on somebody. Okay.
I'm going to demonstrate our distraction and daydreaming.
Okay. There are two people with the orange shirt. Yes, you. Just okay. All right. So I think this leads us into the next topic of discussion, which is, we have kind of told ourselves how we can beat them. So if we avoid all of these, we will get to how to become an active listener. So you pay attention, you show that you are listening, right? Now, I know in this particular situation, not everybody can be nodding, but once in a while, nodding or showing that you're listening, showing and having an eye contact is not a bad thing. Now, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overdo, yes, to the point that the speaker gets distracted. But yes, you want to show that you're listening. You want to provide feedback. Again, in this type of setting, it may not be very appropriate all the time to give the feedback. But if you are having a friendly conversation, like going back to Sheldon Cooper versus Leonard conversation, Sheldon Cooper provided no feedback because he was not listening, right? He provided no feedback. He just kept on telling the other person what he wanted to tell. However, Leonard did show he was providing feedback actively. I think to most degree he demonstrated what an active listener should be, but he got very frustrated. Right? Defer making judgment. Don't start saying what you would do, or okay, maybe I'm telling somebody, today I had such a bad day. I was in an accident. Without a stop, my friend will say, oh, you know what? Yesterday, even I was in an accident. At that point in time, my accident, my chain of thought is no longer important, and the conversation is getting somewhere else, right? And I think all of us do that too. Most of us do that. And respond appropriately. If your friend is unhappy, don't say that, oh, why are you sitting there with a sad face? Try to understand what's really happening with him or her. I'm trying to understand. Okay. We are coming to the end of the presentation. Any questions on on these points, or can you want to add anything to? Yes.
So pretty much all I can really do in like a lecture type format, like with one speaker and you have to listen to them. All you can really do is pay attention. That's it. Like,
show that you are paying attention.
Okay. Because it's pretty hard to like provide feedback.
Yeah, but yeah, and in real life, right? Once you get out of school into college, most of your interactions are going to be outside classrooms, right? You're not like I now, unfortunately, don't get to go and sit in classroom every day. I would love to do that, but not. So there are real conversations, even in club meetings, right? If you are having a small core meeting, and somebody's talking, yes, you need to let him or her talk, but you need to show that you are listening, right? And this active listening really helps you in personal relationships, you know, at home, with friends. There are a lot of times we feel that I don't want to tell something to somebody because I know he's not going to listen to me. So what's the point? You know, he or she's going to come and say something about their own life, which is so much more important, like Sheldon Cooper. Stephen Hawking, not paying attention was so much more important to him. So this is a call to action for everybody. You have to listen, you have to understand, and then act in that order. I think we are almost done with the presentation today. Now, before I play the last video, which is kind of just role playing, the training that you have to complete on the Lions Learning Center is under communication. The very first, which says effective listening. So when you go back today, yes.
Can you go back to the last slide? Okay. I just wanted him to see the probably.
Yeah. So any questions on what course you need to complete after you go back? It is effective listening. It's under communication category. And finally, thank you all for listening. But before we go,
Peter, I want to talk to you about this afternoon's client meeting because there's something very particular I want to make sure that you know.
Yeah, I know. We got to get the food there on time this time, Joanna.
Yes, we have to get the food on time, but that's not it. This is a culturally different group than what we're used to.
Well, and order Chinese food.
No, it's not the Chinese food. It's that this group manages Q&A.
I just want to make sure that Chinese food is better than it was last time.
It's not the food. It's the Q&A. Peter, it's the way they manage Q&A.
Q&A is not a problem for me, Joanna. I'm really fine with Q&A. It's where I shine.
It's not you. It's them.
That's
they
my
don't.
time.
It's fine.
Okay, don't worry about the Q&A. It'll be fine. I'll see you later.
Peter, you're not listening to me.
Ignore distractions and focus. First, don't interrupt. Second, make good eye contact. And third, paraphrase for understanding.
Peter, I want to talk to you about this afternoon's client meetings because there's something very particular I want to make sure you know about this group. Well, they're a Japanese group. They don't interact on Q&A in the same way.
So what does it mean for me?
Well, it means that you should probably plan to lecture a little bit more and then break into smaller groups. Don't expect the same amount of interaction.
Okay, so for Q&A, really don't expect that lecture more because they're not going to say too much.
Exactly.
Got
That's it.
Okay, see you later.
Good. And hey, I like that tie.
Don't put your date.
okay. So after today's presentation, how many people think they can be better listeners? Okay, no one thinks they're perfect yet. Very good. Any questions before? I think we are pretty much done. We have 10 more minutes, so if anyone has any questions, we can address that now. Is there any message, Mahesh, you want to pass on?
Let me go there. So.
Okay, and once again, thank you, New York Live, for letting us.
Thank you, Anu. Let's get back to the housekeeping items. Does anybody have any problems with Lions Learning Center? I think most of you are in-person attendees last time also. If you have been online and if you have any issues, it is time to bring that up. And the next thing is I will talk to the viewers online also. If you have any questions, even now you can call my number 732-331-2945. Okay.
I think he has a question.
Yes.
Like for the video for the last leadership, the one that you put on YouTube, the first 20 minutes had no voice of the video.
Yes, we had some firewall issues. So the orientation part, there is no audio, but the actual presentation part, there is an audio. Yes.
Could you repeat the last 4 digits of the phone number?
2945.
Wait, can you repeat the thing?
732-331-2945. This was actually for the people who are viewing us online. They cannot interact. We are still yet to come up with a solution for them so that they can participate in this conversation. So if they have any questions, they can call me right now, and we can sort of. Basically, I wanted them to call so that, like, if you are watching at home and if you have any question, they might have the similar questions. Yes.
Yeah, so last time you showed us how to create the account for the learning center.
Okay.
So when I put in the membership number in there, it asked for 2 emails. It said one email, like put in your email, and then it said again, put in your alternate email. Is the alternate one supposed to be the same one, or?
No, you don't have to have alternate email. Rather, that is what, like I told right in the beginning, use the same email that you registered. Rather, like, have one email. If you registered with the wrong email, let us know so that we can confirm that. We are tracking your performance, we are tracking your attendance based on your emails. Okay, so make sure that, like, you have the same email, and go a step further than that. That is the email that we are using to send you information. Okay. So make sure that that is the email that you check. Don't give us the email that you don't check. Because I got distracted during the presentation. Instead of managing the camera, I had to go out a couple of times because I got phone calls that they didn't receive the change of venue. Okay, last time we had a seminar in Edison Library and it was changed. There were several emails that went through. Many of us, like many of you are on the Remind app, and there were so many reminders went through. It was told in the last seminar that the next seminar is going to be in New York Life office. But still, there was like sort of some miscommunication, mostly because you were using wrong email address. The email address that you're not using anymore, you use that for registration. And for us, that is the most vital communication link between you and us. Okay? Yes.
Yeah, so like when you sign up for the leadership thing, so like on the paper at the Edison Recreation or whatever, so I use my mom's email there, but then now I'm thinking about using my email on the Learning Center.
Okay.
So is there a way to change that?
Yes. Go to the Lions Learning Center.
Yeah.
There is, I believe it's on the top right corner.
Okay.
It's my profile.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure because I haven't visited Learning Center in a while. But there is a link there for my profile. Go there and change the email addresses. Again, I'm repeating again and again because it's very, very important. You have a right email address at Lion Learning Center and our registration. Registration, you cannot go and change. So if you have changed your email, send an email back to the lla@16j.org. That is Lions Leadership Academy at 16j.org. lla@16j.org. Do that. And one more thing, just again a general point for everybody. When you are doing the profile under the district, many people have chosen number 16-J. Many people have chosen 16-J. Some people have done 16J. Please use 16J. No space, no dash, so that it is easier for us to track. Because otherwise, it might end up that you might have done a course, but we might not know because the information was not right. Yes, you had your hand up for it. Yes, I'm going to come to that. Yes. Yes.
For 16J, J capital or lowercase?
J capital.
Okay.
That is what I have mentioned in the email also. So just use that as it is. Yes.
How can you know that you got the results from a course that we did on the Learning Center?
Good question. After every course,
Yeah.
10 days later, okay, that is like sort of the course that you took last Saturday, this Monday. This Monday, you will get a progress report in the email that you have provided us. Progress report, as in it will just tell you whether you attended the seminar and completed the last Learning Center course. We had initially we have said that like it will be 1 week. We wanted to send the email before you come for this seminar, but we are going to give you, since it's a weekend, we are going to give you another couple of days. Every Monday you will receive a mail about the previous course. And since many of you were new to Lance Learning Center, this time I'm going to allow you to take the course for 1 more week. So those who have not taken the course till now, try to complete that before next Saturday. Okay. I have at 10 o'clock this morning when I checked up the reports, out of 70 some people who have actually registered, we have less than 20 people who have completed their courses. So make sure that like you finish off your courses. Yes.
Can you say the names of who completed it?
Not now.
Okay.
I don't want to expose anybody at this moment. Anybody else? Okay. Since nobody has any questions, let me announce the next 2 seminars. Next weekend, that is the 4th, next Saturday, is Easter weekend, and most of the facilities are closed. So we are not going to have a seminar on Easter weekend. The next seminar that we are going to have is going to be on 11th. This will be on creativity and innovation in leadership. Okay, and we have a very, very good speaker. There is the principal of, retired principal of East Brunswick High School, and she is a politician now, Donna Magwith. She and her husband is a football coach, and he does a lot of social activities. They are going to come up with a lot of activities for you, and it's going to be a very, very interesting seminar. That will be on 11th, same time, same place, no changes. The one after that is going to be on 18th. The seminar on 18th is about effective team building, and it will be delivered by one of our own lions, Paul Cusino. He is a high-ranking officer in one of the financial reporting institutions, and he will be coming and he will be telling you about how to build the teams, how to use team effectively. So these are the two sessions that is what like I discussed with you in last session also. Every session that you will come, we will be announcing next 2 seminars. So these are the 2 seminars. If nobody has any questions, we will end this session right here. Anybody has any questions? Yes.
The one on the 18th is in the same time and same place too.
Same time, same place. Our seminars are going to be, besides Easter weekend, we don't have any holidays. So 9 seminars would be every Saturday, 1 to 2, right here. You will be coming the same way and attending the seminars here. Anybody else? Yes.
Okay, so the online academy for the training,
is
it being graded on accuracy or confusion? Like when you're being assessed or progress reports?
Both. You just don't have to skip through. Active viewing, not listening. It is both. It's both. You need to complete that. And let me sort of repeat what we told last time also during the orientation. These coursework where it was designed, keeping in mind that they will be training the lions. So there are certain places, there are references to lions related material. It talks about zone chairs, it talks about district governors and so on and so forth. It is not, if it is not relevant, then just skip that. The lions related portion only. You don't skip the important portion. If it is lions related information, skip that and go forward. Okay? Take the exact same course that was told to you. Okay? There are, like, most of you have registered and most of you have checked up the course. There are quite a few courses. There are like 30 odd courses that are available. Okay? Some people are curious and they go and take the courses. We don't mind you taking the courses, but the thing is you won't be able to take the full advantage of seminars here. So don't take the courses, don't take any courses till we finish up the seminar here. You have access, you can go and do it, but just refrain from doing that at this point of time. After you're done, after we are done with the diploma, you can take as many courses as you want, but till then, just like sort of stick to the basic courses. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
What?